there might be 3 Sonics. Sonic Adventure 3 no.
Wow, I was really wrong about that. But what if there were a Boom Sonic in Sonic Forces? Oh, this'll be interesting. Hey everybody, it's the Lyoko Gem and welcome to another video. First off, I want to say thank you to everyone who voted on my poll a while back about what to do about future Sonic videos. Seeing as it's pretty decently split, I'm going to be going back and forth between Forces and normal Sonic videos. With that said, today we're going to do another one of those What If Sonic Forces, and this time it's going to be What If Boom Sonic were in Sonic Forces. Now, I think it's clear that I love doing this sort of thing, but I think it would be far too easy than just to say, oh, Boom Sonic is in Sonic Forces, that's it. Nah, that's too easy. One thing we need to understand is that for Boom Sonic to have been in Sonic Forces, a lot of things would have had to have changed to allow for this to happen. So with that being said, let's see what would have had to happen for Boom Sonic to end up in Sonic Forces. So with that, let's flash back to 2013 and change the timeline, just like the Phantom Ruby. It's 2013, and Sonic Lost World is pretty mediocre. That's such a shame. But the new spin-off game, Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric? With those strange redesigns and other weird decisions, it was bound to be a horrible failure, right? Wrong. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric was a resounding success and has sprung a brand new division of the Sonic franchise. So how does Sega follow up this resounding success? With a sequel to Rise of Lyric and putting Boom Sonic in their upcoming game under the working title Project Sonic 2017. The world would be shocked at the 25th anniversary party that the first game unveiled there would be the long-awaited sequel to Rise of Lyric, Sonic Boom Phantom Reality, set to release in summer of 2017 in between Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces. This would unfortunately mean that the Mania team would be further pushed to reach the original spring 2017 deadline, which I'm not really sure how that would turn out. I would personally guess April for Mania, July for Boom, and November for Forces to space them out though. Oh, and Sonic Boom Fire and Ice still exists, but it's just a side adventure. So, Sonic Mania happens, the Phantom Ruby is found on Angel Island and causes all kinds of shenanigans, and the Ruby teleports itself and Classic Sonic into another dimension. Sometime after Mania, on the day the custom hero was announced, on May 16, 2017, Boom Sonic would be unveiled for what would have been at this point named Sonic Forces, in a trailer similar to the original. So then there's Sonic Boom Phantom Reality. What would this game be like? Well, I imagine the game would open up on Sonic and friends relaxing. They've settled into life in the village at the end of the first game, and it's great. But when their village is attacked by Eggman robots, you're quick to defend it as the main quartet, with a now playable Styx. Team Boom would be doing well and meet up with Eggman, ready to fight and ward him off, only for Metal Sonic to intervene. Metal Sonic, of course, is strange. His core is radiating this odd red energy, and has now been given a voice. He rants about getting revenge for his defeat after the events of Rise of Lyric, and that he'll shape the world into his own image. With that, he does the Phantom Ruby thing, and everything goes white. When Sonic wakes up, he finds himself all alone in what used to be the village, but is now a wasteland. His friends are gone, and Eggman too. Sonic would then have to adventure alone and find his friends that have been teleported all over the world by Metal Sonic, who would be a constant threat, as well as Eggman, who would be occasionally getting in the way, wanting to overthrow Metal Sonic as the ultimate power. One by one, Sonic would find his friends, starting with Styx to allow for more character development, then Tails, Amy, and finally Knuckles. Metal would be a constant threat, showing up for battles and dropping hints about the Phantom Ruby for losers like me to decipher. And in the end, he'd be rid of Eggman, and of course, he'd come back in the eventual third Boom installment. In the end, you use the real superpower of teamwork to defeat Phantom Metal Sonic, only for him and Sonic to be alone. They'd be fighting each other, and it would be intense. The others are calling out for him, only for Metal Sonic to say something like, "This machine is not a suitable vessel after all. Perhaps another world will bring a champion for the Phantom Ruby." With that, Metal Sonic would be torn apart in a vicious explosion, and leave the Phantom Ruby floating in its space. Sonic would still be close to it and staring in awe at it, while his friends are pleading him to get back. and then it would shine brightly and make the familiar sound effect again. Boom Sonic would be gone and his friends would be left alone, wondering what happened to Sonic, and then the credits would roll. A final cutscene after the credits would be seen of Boom Sonic falling through a portal. He'd accidentally bump into Classic Sonic and he'd be thrown out of the stream on accident before the light would shine brightly and the game would end. Sonic Boom, Phantom Reality. Finally, the story would wrap up in Sonic Forces, Holiday 2017. More trailers and junk getting excited about Forces, and then eventually it arrives. I guess it's time for me to rewrite Forces again, so here we go. The beginning of Sonic Forces is the same as before. We have Sonic in Green Hill, he's called back into the city by Tails, he goes and Sonic is given the smackdown by Infinite and all that junk, Tails runs off and Sonic is defeated. However, here's where the changes begin to start. When Eggman is gloating and is about to haul Sonic off, continued use of the Phantom Ruby causes a portal to appear in the sky right in the middle of the party, and out plops Classic Sonic. Classic Sonic is very confused, but sees all these villains and his older self passed out on the ground too. He'd react to the Phantom Ruby on Infinite's chest as well. Eggman would be pretty confused too and ask Infinite to take care of him while he takes care of Sonic. So, Eggman leaves and Sonic chases after him with Infinite close behind. Infinite nods and makes chase, and Ghost Town begins with Eggman's pod going off with Sonic in tow. Dialogue would be of Infinite noting how he remembers Classic Sonic and all of that jazz. Afterwards, Classic Sonic would catch up to Eggman and manage to get Modern Sonic back. He'd wake up, but it would be hard for him. Sonic would be very confused as to what's going on, especially seeing Classic Sonic, but knows that they don't have the time. Together, they'd run off, leading to your next level. Tag Team, Modern and Classic Sonic working together. Don't ask me how it works, but the weakened Modern Sonic needs to get out of Sunset Heights with Classic Sonic. They just need to get out, so you do. At the edge of town, they'd head out to the Red Gate Bridge, where Classic Sonic takes Sonic to a place where he knows his older self can rest. So of course, off to Green Hill Zone. Later, we get back to Tails. He's running away in fear and finds the broken down Omega. He's confused and saddened by this, but things don't get any easier for him when Chaos appears to attack him. Still heartbroken and confused over what happens to Sonic, he's scared and does cower a bit. And then of course Boom Sonic comes out and takes care of it. He's quippy and fun and it's great. He notes that Tails is without his gear and junk in reference to Boom Tails' design, and of course confusion. Tails knows that this is a Sonic and all, but he doesn't know who this Sonic is, and Sonic also comments that he's never really been in a place like this before. It's strange for both of them. Tails then goes on the whole, hey, it's good to see any Sonic line, and suggests that maybe they help fix Omega. So Boom Sonic would have a mission to salvage tools from wherever he can in Park Avenue. He'd learn more about Tails and everything, and once the mission is complete, he'd return to Tails and he'd be fixing Omega. Boom Sonic would ask about what has Tails so down and all, and he'd explain what happened with Infinite and all. Boom Sonic would be comforting, telling Tails that it's okay, he made a mistake and that it happens to everyone, and adds that if he knows himself, he's sure that the other Sonic is okay. Tails isn't sure and thanks him for the help. As for Omega, nothing happens with him and they figure that it's not working out for them. Tails is saddened again that he can't do anything right, and Boom Sonic does his best to lift his spirits. He somewhat succeeds, at least enough for him and Tails to look at what they should do next, and it's decided that they'll head out of the city and into the mainland to see if they can do anything to help out there. And so, that's how they begin their adventure. Returning to Classic and Modern Sonic, it's the next day, and they're in Green Hill Zone. Sonic is feeling better, but is bummed that he lost to Eggman and all, and that they need to get back at him. Classic Sonic agrees, and they start Classic Green Hill Zone. It's cool, and they have some fun. During the level, Sonic would talk about what happened to Green Hill and all that jazz, and then they'd return to Eggman and Infinite, only for Classic Sonic to take on Eggman, and Modern handles Infinite. While Classic Sonic is able to take Eggman and the Egg Dragoon, Sonic has a hard time with Infinite, and it's only when Eggman calls on a retreat that they leave. Sonic says that they need to get back to the Resistance base down in Misty Jungle, so that's what they do. We go back to Boom Sonic and Tails and find them in a city of some sort, only to find that it too has been devastated. Sonic and Tails wonder what has happened, only to run into chaos again. Boom Sonic is annoyed, having thought he defeated Chaos when he ran into Tails, and they have a boss fight similar to SA1's Chaos boss fight, but of course with some twists to make it fresh. Chaos would disappear in the same way the ruby makes things disappear, and Sonic would frown and have a flashback to something that went down in his game. He'd note that he's seen that energy before, to which Tails would be confused, and he'd tell him the story of how he got there, which would either be told through a cut to, wow, that was the story, or some form of a flashback showing snippets of specific scenes. I don't know. But Tails would say that that's quite a story. He'd compare notes in the fact that Infinite was the one who had the ruby this time, and that Metal was there, but from what he could tell, he didn't have the ruby thing. Tails deducts that whatever that thing is, it's the cause of how Boom Sonic ended up here, and how Eggman was able to take over the world so quickly. Boom Sonic suggests that they need to find this Infinite guy and put a stop to this, and Tails agrees. We go back to the modern and classic duo, and they have a tag team Mystic Jungle level. They arrive at the Resistance base, and needless to say, Knuckles doesn't take too kindly to trespassers, and they're met with a bunch of random characters pointing wisp bombs at both of them. Knuckles would come out and would be pretty pissed, saying that when he didn't hear from Sonic after Sunset Heights, he thought he was dead. But they're happy to have him back in the Resistance all the same, and wondering what the heck his younger self is doing there when they haven't seen him in generations. Regardless, they're still happy to have him back, and from that point, they go and have the same missions as the original game, going to the chemical plants and rescuing people on the Death Eggs, Sunset Heights, and etc, etc. Boom Sonic and Tails would also do some missions, running around on their own and causing trouble all over the world before they finally run into and join the Resistance. From which point, the game would go on similarly to the original, with the Resistance eventually going on to the Imperial Tower. Infinite would be revealed to be the physical form of the Phantom Ruby and all of that jazz, and he would be the final boss rather than Eggman, since both Mania and Phantom Reality build up stories on the Ruby, with the Phantom Ruby shattering in the end. Both Sonics would be returned to their separate dimensions, and wham bam, Sonic Forces. But that's what I think it would have been like if Boom Sonic were in Sonic Forces. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, then be sure to like, subscribe, and follow my social media at Tumblr, Twitter, and Discord, all linked below. And with all of that being said, this has been the Lyoko Gem, a warping out.